Finally, I would like to convey my congratulations and my gratitude to the Chief of Staff, Captain Ibrahim Traore. He is the one who called me, and with that, we will move forward together. So our relationship at the beginning was good, but he became my boss, my friend, and my brother. During all the time we worked together, there was not a single time of divergence. We had convergence techniques. It may be the methods that diverged, but we had the same convictions and the same objectives. So as I said, he was my boss at first, but now he has become my boss, my friend, and my brother. And under his leadership, we have engaged a lot of people. And as I said earlier, you do not see all the aspects of the G7 summit. But as I said, the G7 does not face zero. I have attended the inauguration of the G7 summit for many years. But there will be others. There will be the treatment of mining residues, everything. And I can tell you that the Chief of Staff has a great project and a great vision for the French government. And if what he has in mind comes true, I can assure you that the years to come will be years of prosperity for our country. So I ask you to accompany him in this direction so that we can all benefit from it. Anyway, we have a few priorities. First of all, it is security. We have come at a time when under the leadership of President Ibrahim Traore, the security is declining. It was not the case when we arrived in November 2022. But under his leadership, which I call the strategy, he has been able to equip the G7 summit in both material and personal terms to be able to face our main enemy, which is security. Then there is the refounding of the state. It is underway, so it would be good if we could continue in this direction. Because without a refounded state, in addition to our real state, progress will be difficult. And in this refounding, I think that the transformation of the mentality, the deployment of the necessary mentality, so that people can become aware of the real state of our society and the goals that we want to achieve. We need to have a refounding. We cannot develop a country in indiscipline, in disorder, in filth, when there is no function. One of the first objectives that I had assigned to the Minister of Transport and the Minister of Security was to juggle the situation in Clermont-Lévin so that there is respect for the road, that people wear helmets, that people respect the road, that we do not want to be on the road. While there are cyclists on the side, which causes a lot of traffic accidents, the consequences are serious. But we have been confronted with a reality. The Ministry of Safety told me that currently the personnel in charge of the control is mobilized for us. What is left is not enough to solve the problem. However, it is difficult to direct a rule until we have the means to criticize it. So all this is the refounding of society. The refounding of society so that we can live better, improve our productivity. Finally, there is another chapter that I consider to be one of the most important. It is the chapter on the conflagration of the Sahel states. So as you probably don't know, since 1986, I have been studying this chapter. What to do to prevent the conflagration of the Sahel? There are several chapters on this, etc. And when the opportunity presented itself, we said, why not? Why not try? Even if it will be difficult. People started laughing and so on. But I think that today, with the conclusion of this project, those who laughed at the beginning will find themselves. The masses have seized the project in such a way that it is itself that pushes the leaders of today towards the realization of the conflagration and the conflagration of the Sahel.
Hallo, ik ben Rob de Boer en ik werk nu ruim 4 jaar.
Why am I talking like this? Because you know that our countries, each one of them, is very fragile. We are talking about sovereignty, and our countries must not isolate their sovereignty from the enemy forces that we have in front of us. I would like to tell you that throughout my studies and my life, I have always been against the influence of imperialism in the country. But when I became prime minister, I realized that I had not fully grasped the influence of imperialism in my country. These are the tentacles, and I saw how in Spain, these tentacles are harmful to human health. You know, often in my recordings, I would come back to this point so that people would be aware of it. And when you are confronted with these effects, it is difficult for you to understand this message. So the influence of imperialism in the behavior of our societies is very big. And so if we want to evolve, we will have to overcome this to find our own way of development. To try to isolate the state is difficult. If we put ourselves together, we can form a strong bloc on the level of the population, on the level of the economy, on the level of the military to be able to resist against all the attempts of imperialism. You are witnesses to what happened during the coup d'etat of General Tialun in Nigeria, what we call solidarity. Even if in some way imperialism did not hesitate to intervene, to leave the massacres of Muslim civilians, to reinstall their agents in power. So that's why I would like this construction site, the Constitution of the Confederation of States of the IIS, to be consolidated. And so that we can form a federation and stabilize our institutions under the journal. To be able to face the challenges of the struggle against external influences and the challenges of development and free movement of our populations. So here are the construction sites that are there, that are permanent. And that means that you will have a lot to do. But I think it will be much easier because now insecurity is more and more circulated and people are also starting to understand. When we arrived, most people had a formative spirit on the Western model. That is to say that the thought was directed. People were not convinced that we could think differently. Now we have noticed that with the work that we have started to do, a lot of people are starting to understand that we can think differently and we can build ourselves differently. So the task will be a little easier. And fortunately, you have a qualified staff, whether it's the Secretary General, whether it's the cabinet here, who is ready to take up the challenges, who is ready to take up the burden. We can trust them. In any case, just like within the government, as I told you, I was in good intelligence with all the ministries that are placed in the different governments. Within the Prime Minister, it was the same thing. I have never had a problem with a person, particularly whether it's the Secretary General or the Cabinet, who has not found his solution in the same time. So I think that you should avoid creating an institution that has been blocked to advance. So you have all the tools to succeed. And so I wish you a good journey, and that there is a journey to an end. And at the end of your journey, I will be proud of you and of your work. First of all, I would like to extend my congratulations to the new Prime Minister, Mr. Jean-Emmanuel Ouedraogo, with whom we have been working together since 2014. So the House is not foreign, and with whom we have achieved quite a lot of results. And I think that in his new post, he will continue to devalue his skills for the general interest of the nation. Through him, I would also like to convey my gratitude to all the members of the government. I would like to start by congratulating the Secretary General himself, who has received a promotion for his role in the government. So you can see that in my government, there are a lot of promotions. So I would like the new Prime Minister and the Secretary General of the government to convey my gratitude and congratulations to the entire government.
Most coaches and online experts try every trendy marketing strategy under the sun, yet they're still left with nothing to show for it